Hello, I'm Wayne Mays with Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce, and we are here at the Chamber Zoom room today for a forum between two candidates for the Fayetteville School Board. We appreciate the fact that Keaton Smith is the incumbent and Heather Klaus is the challenger. These two folks are willing to give of their time and efforts to represent you citizens on the school board in at-large position 2. And the election is on May 9th, and early voting starts, as I understand it, May 2nd. So you want to listen to what they have to say today and consider the information. And please, once you're informed, go vote. Their term will start later this year. We think probably in June. We were trying to come to that conclusion earlier. We will be giving them a series of questions that they will each answer. This is not a debate, it's a forum, so they'll be directing their answers to you folks in the audience, not to each other. They will each get a 3-minute opening and a 3-minute closing, and we'll have questions in between. Let's get started. Okay, we drew previously for the order of speaking, and Heather will be giving her opening remarks first.
Yes, thank you, Wayne. My name is Heather Klaus, and I'm a lifelong resident of Arkansas. I grew up in Hot Springs, Arkansas, where I graduated from and attended public schools. Came up to the University of Arkansas, and I received my bachelor's degree in education and health professions and my master's degree in human development and family sciences. The majority of my professional career was with Northwest Arkansas Head Start. I was the education and disability specialist for 3 counties, Benton, Carroll, and Madison, serving over 500 children and their families. My husband, Chris, and I have called Fayetteville home for over 23 years, and our son, Jack, attends Woodland Junior High and previously attended McNair Middle School and Vandergrift Elementary. All of my community service has been solely focused on improving the lives of children and families in our community. For the past 8 years, I've been a member of the Fayetteville Public Schools PTO and PTO board, 3 of which I served as president at 2 different schools. I've been a member of the Fayetteville Junior Civic League for the past 5 years. 1 year of that I served as president. I serve on the University of Arkansas Alumni Advisory Committee. I've been doing that for 15 years. And that is a mentor program for young women, empowering them to be our future leaders and to show them the importance of community service. I serve as the Central and Student Ministry Leader at Central United Methodist Church, and I've been doing that for 7 years. And I'm currently on the Woodland Junior High Parent Engagement Committee. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Heather. Keaton, your opening remarks.
Thank you, Wayne, and thank you to the Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce for organizing this forum. I think it's so important for community members to hear from both candidates so that voters can make an informed decision regarding this important election. My name is Keaton Smith, and I'm running for re-election to the Fayetteville School Board. I believe that public education is the foundation of opportunity for individuals and communities. The work that takes place every day in our buildings and the decisions we make as a school board help shape the future of our community and the lives of thousands of current and future community members. I'll share a little bit about myself. My wife Megan and I have 2 daughters, a kindergartner at Washington and a 6-month-old at home. My mom is a retired elementary school teacher and librarian, and my dad was an award-winning elementary school principal. Part of my why is to help make our school district and our community even better for my girls and for all of their classmates. I know that Heather and I agree that we must ensure school safety, continue to focus on academic achievement and growth, communicate with families as the partners in education that they are, and demonstrate to our teachers and staff just how much we value the hard work they invest every day in service to our community and our children. My professional and community development background is diverse, which informs my perspective as a school board member in many ways. The common thread between all of my work has been the goal of improving the future for everyone in our community. 16 years in banking has given me experience analyzing financial statements, visibility into market data and trends, and an understanding of workforce needs and opportunities for our graduates. It has also helped me develop a deep network in the business, nonprofit, philanthropic, and public sectors. My community development work outside of the school board has allowed me to build experience and expertise in strategic planning, policy advocacy, entrepreneurship, sustainability, facilities innovation, talent retention, housing, transportation, city planning, and the connections between all of these systems. During my first 5 years on the school board, I've been a part of an extremely strong team of board members, administrators, and educators. I've been a champion for career and technical education, helping to create CTE Signing Day, which celebrates students continuing on their career pathway by entering the workforce, a trade school, the military, or a four-year college. I've facilitated business and industry engagement. I've helped bolster our budget through expense-saving investments in energy-efficient buildings. Solar will soon power 90% of our electricity needs with no upfront costs, allowing us to start saving money immediately. I've helped create opportunities for our students to engage in bike education, sustainability, and school gardens. I've shared ideas to improve marketing efforts targeted to young families and to leverage our top-notch marketing department to help recruit bus drivers. I've helped make new connections with academic researchers and philanthropic organizations. I've put forward innovative ideas, and I've been a good partner. I've supported our teachers and staff through pay increases, bonuses, mental health support, and by listening to their concerns. And I've always put students first. I'm grateful for the opportunity we have here today to share our positions on the key issues, as well as our values and our ideas for the future of Fayetteville Public Schools.
Okay, thank you both. We're going to continue the theme of our opening remarks now with question one, and we'll start again with you, Heather. Why do you want to serve on the school board?
Well, the decision to run for school board was not made lightly, but after careful consideration and also discussing it with my family. I fully understand the time commitment, how school board decisions impact our district and the importance of efficiently using resources. I think it's also important to know that with the school board election, that sometimes there's some confusion that it is a nonpartisan position, and that the reason for that, and Keaton and I both agree on this, is that to keep political beliefs out of decisions that are made for our students and education. So I know both of us have no political agenda as far as going into this race. I'm also proud to be from a family of educators. I started my professional career as a pre-K teacher at Head Start. My sister is a public school teacher in Oklahoma City. My mom served on school board for 8 years and was also worked at First Step School. And my sister-in-law is a teacher in Batesville, Arkansas. So it's a proud line of educators that runs in the family. I believe in and support public schools. I have all my life. Ever since I graduated with my degree, I've always viewed myself as part of team education and always just supporting the team and doing what's best for our schools. And I believe we're at a pivotal time in our district with change in leadership at both the district and state levels. And I just thought, this is my time. You know, they need a voice through the lens of a teacher and someone with extensive experience in disability and mental health services, and an involved parent that's been in the schools for the past 8 years that see how hard our teachers work and the strengths and challenges of each school and that they face every day. My experience has taught me something important, and that is this human-centered approach. I recently read an article and it really spoke a lot of truth to me, and it said what one school is doing to keep its teachers. And its focus was that we all deserve to be viewed as fully human, imperfect, and capable of greatness. And I thought, wow, now that is great. And that's just how I've always viewed education, as looking at it as the whole child, viewing not just them as a student, but everything, all their views and family life and all of that. And I really feel like true accountability is probably one of the greatest acts of kindness that we can do. It's not an I gotcha, but it's an I see you.
Thank you. Keaton?
All right, so when I ran 5 years ago, I had several reasons why. I had experience in multiple systems within our community that were all focused on the future, and then I had just a longstanding understanding that education is just foundational to any community's success. So when I thought about my next steps in community service, one thing I thought about was how if I can add a diversity of, where could I add a diversity of perspective? And as a young parent at the time, we just had a 1-year-old, and so I did not yet have kids in the district, but taking that, having that very future focused lens, and some as a parent of young children, I felt would be a perspective that's not represented, wasn't represented at the time on our school board, and typically isn't on most school boards. So I think more importantly, why do I want to serve the next 5 years? School board is a steep learning curve, and we've been through a lot of changes over the last 5 years. COVID was a huge disruptor, and a lot of the things that I hoped to move forward in terms of career and technical education and community engagement initiatives were challenged by COVID. And so it almost takes 5 years to build the relationships, to understand the finances of the district, to understand how the systems work together, to understand what's working really well, that we can't add new initiatives on top of each other all the time and just keep adding onto everyone's plate. And so I think I'm really excited for the next 5 years and what we can accomplish around career and technical education and building a deeper partnership with our city and other community partners. Specifically on career and technical education, for the last year, our teachers and leaders of our CTE department have been going through what I consider a mini strategic plan process. And they've been dreaming big about the future. I've had a chance to sit in on several of their meetings, and it's really both inspired me about the work that they're doing and helped to inform my vision for how we can grow career pathways, project-based learning, internships, and other aspects of our career and technical education program moving forward. One specific example on that is that we have a fantastic partnership today with Brightwater at the library, and where students get concurrent credit. They get out into the community in the Fayetteville Public Library to take classes off campus. And I'd love to see that replicated. Let's replicate that across healthcare, skilled trades, IT and computer science, with other community partners. So that's something I'd love to accomplish in the next 5 years.
Good, thank you. All right, we're going to have a couple of questions now related to challenges. The first one is about students, and the other one is about faculty. So you can kind of plan answers there. So Keaton, you'll go first on this one. What do you believe is the most significant challenge facing our students in our school system?
For our students, I think, COVID was a global trauma, and we still feel the impacts of COVID, especially for students who experienced those COVID years during really formative, important moments in their social development, in their cognitive development, in their experience in school. So that has led to challenges around, we have mental health challenges in our schools. We have attendance and behavior challenges in our schools, and I know those are all things that our staff is well aware of and is working on every day. But I think that some of the solutions lie in thinking about how we engage students, and providing every opportunities for every type of student to engage with something. So if there's one thing I've learned in 5 years is just the importance of engagement, the importance of student agency. And so by providing different types of learning opportunities, maybe that's career and technical education that has more hands-on learning. Maybe that's through our AVID program that has grown from 16 participants to over 400 in 5 years, which is it's a cohort group model where peers can learn from each other and stay with the peer group from 7th grade through 12th grade. Looking for ways to help students know that they belong, help students connect with a peer group, help students connect with at least one adult at school that they know cares, deeply cares about their future, and also knows that they are destined for greatness, that they are going to be successful. So it's putting I think the solution lies there's no silver bullet, and there's so many things to do in terms of adding resources around policy, around programs, but my focus is thinking creatively about how we can engage kids and help every student find their why for why they belong in school, why they in school are a good fit. So I guess that would be the student-focused issue that I would highlight.
Thank you. All right, Heather, what do you believe is the most significant challenge facing our students in the school system?
I'm going to have to say student success and behavior challenges in the classroom. With student success, it's not only closing those achievement gaps, but it's also understanding and valuing the teachable moments that happen in the classroom. Those that learning that happens that might not be or can't be measured by standardized tests, and that we use that to form a plan for the student and to, like I said earlier, focus on the whole child, not just on the education part. With behavior issues, I would like to see more mental health support in the school. I know with our SRO program, they provide a lot of mental health and reaching out to our community. We have a wonderful community, so thankful to live in this community. I just want to make sure we're maximizing those resources that are out there, and also engaging families in the community to come in and help. And I think once we build those bridges and we show support for all and within the classroom, the data will follow. And you'll see those achievement gaps starting to close, and you'll see those families starting to be engaged and the parents. So that's where I think our biggest challenge is with students.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to go to the other type of challenge here. And we'll start, Heather, you'll get the first opportunity to answer this time. And this is, what do you believe is the most significant challenge facing our faculty in the school system?
Well, that one is pretty easily right now, because I think with our faculty, it's navigating the LEARNS Act that has come down from the state. There's still a lot of unknowns, uncertainty, and that sometimes doesn't make for a conducive work environment. So I think it's important that the district supports our teachers and lets them know that we value their professional opinion, and we want their professional opinion as we navigate uncharted waters with the LEARNS Act. I also think it's important that educators, district leadership, parents, community members are all part of the rulemaking process of the LEARNS Act. I think more than anything now, our educators need to know that they're supported and valued and their opinions matter. And that we understand that there's behavior challenges in the classroom, and they might be focusing more on classroom management versus classroom instruction. That all needs to be addressed. And I want to know their opinion, like, what do you need? How can we help? You're in the classroom every day. You see this every day. What is your opinion? And I think that's really important.
Okay, thank you. Keaton, what do you believe is the most significant challenge facing the faculty in our school?
Yeah, I think it is uncertainty from so many different directions. You know, we're about to onboard a new superintendent, but in the heat of the legislative session, when we had LEARNs and many other education related bills being discussed, we also had a superintendent search, and there was uncertainty about who our next leader would be. Now we know, and we're super excited to welcome Dr. Mulford to Fayetteville starting July 1st. But you know, it's the combination of all of those uncertainties that can be such a challenge. So within LEARNs, now that we have superintendent, you know, off the uncertainty list, within the LEARNs bill, and really, I think it's the broader narrative around public education as well. You know, one of the tragic things about the politicization of public education that we've seen ramped up over the last few years is that educators feel a target on their backs. Educators, you know, through the course of the pandemic, educators went from being heroes of the pandemic to villains, and so there are so many ways that educators need to feel supported. It is through compensation that values everything that they do for kids, both academically and to support the whole child every day in our schools. It's also internal communications and external communications. You know, that message that we've got your back, that message that we know there's a lot swirling out there, but we're behind you. In terms of, and then it's also resources, you know, it's resources like behavior interventionists, reading interventionists, those targeted resources that can identify kids that may be struggling, maybe falling behind as quickly as possible, and give teachers the support that they need so that they can work with everyone. In terms of LEARN's impacts for our faculty in Fayetteville, I am confident that we won't see any changes to salary schedule lanes, and we'll be able to continue to reward experience. We'll be able to continue to reward continuing education, and we'll be able to provide a well-deserved raise for teachers and staff. So I know teacher fair dismissal is another major change coming down the pipeline. We're a little bit in between a rock and a hard place between state and federal law on that front. But I just want teachers to know that we're going to have your back.
Thank you both. I'm glad you mentioned Dr. Fulford, new superintendent. It was a delight to meet him the other day at a reception that the school district had for him, and looks like they made a good choice. Okay, we're ready to go to question 4 now, and Keaton, you'll be first on this one. You are both running for the position of at-large position 2, which Keaton you've held, and Heather you're challenging for. But a question that comes up is, do you desire to represent a specific group of constituents regarding Fayetteville School Board policy?
No, the answer to that is no. I'm running to represent all students, all parents, all families, all teachers and staff in the district. And that's something I'm really proud about, how our school board operates in general. Even those that represent a zone, sure, they're more likely to hear from individuals in their zone and carry those questions, get those questions answered, maybe carry their message forward. But I think we do a really good job of seeing our role as that everyone, all 7 of us represent our entire district, and we have the entire district's best outcomes in mind. So no, I can't think of a specific constituency that I represent other than everyone.
Thank you. Heather, do you desire to represent a specific group of constituents regarding the school board policy?
No, I do not. Like, I am here, my focus is on the future of Fayetteville Public Schools by supporting, our students, teachers, engaging our families. Parents are their child's first educator. That's important to include them in the learning process. And our community too. And what I've found when you visit with people, I'm a listener. I'm a listening leader. So I love listening and hearing everyone's perspective, because then that way I feel like success is more often achieved when we can ask those questions and you listen, and then we can collaborate together and come together and make those decisions that are best interest for all students, regardless of what zone they live in. Because, Fayetteville's always said, one FPS. And I truly believe that we are all in this for one reason, and that's to be excellent in education.
Okay, thank you. So question 5, and we'll start with you, Heather, on this one. What about your professional and personal background, skills, and experience make you the best candidate in this race?
Well, like I said, my background is in education, and I have extensive background in disability and mental health services. And that's a unique experience, a unique perspective. All of my community service, like I said before, has been solely focused on children and families in our community, improving their lives and helping them. And I feel like this has prepared me for the next step, and I want to serve the district on a deeper level. Like I said before, I'm a listening leader, and I feel like success is more often achieved by asking those questions: who, what, when, where, why, and also how, than by simply answering yes or no. And I feel like the most effective leaders lead by doing, and that's been my trademark forever. The public schools are my field of dreams, and I am always there and will always be there. And also I believe that knowledge is power. The more that we can engage and involve all stakeholders, the more goals we will accomplish. And I feel like we can do that by having clear communication channels and making sure that everyone can understand the communication and find out more and get engaged. And also, who's responsible for that communication? Is it coming from the district level, the state level? Is it coming from the school level or the classroom level? I think we need a clear plan on that. And then as a leader, I've always been available, visible, and constantly engaged. And I believe that our district leadership needs to be out in the community telling our story. I think that is so important because we have a great story and we need to make sure that we're sharing it.
Okay, thank you. Keaton, I'll rephrase it. What about your professional and personal background, skills, and experience make you the best candidate in this race?
Yeah, so I've had the opportunity to take a deep dive into several different systems through my banking career, but also my volunteer activities, specifically around sustainability and as a volunteer in the affordable housing space. And taking deep dives into multiple systems, I feel like anytime you take a deep dive into a system, you see how interconnected it is with all of the other systems. And so I think it's so as a couple of examples with banking and finance, I think finance and budgeting is the biggest impacts from a board and governance level. The biggest impacts of the LEARNS bill will be around our budget, forecasting our budget, looking for creative ways to save money if needed, looking for creative ways to influence the revenue side of our budget by ensuring that we're attracting and retaining students and and even in how our community grows, in a growing community, 75% of our budget comes from local property tax revenue. So the way that our community develops makes a huge impact in terms of our budget and our ability to serve kids with the resources that they deserve. So another way that banking helps is connectivity in the business community. Right now, I'm working with a couple of inspiring and entrepreneurial high school teachers to help them connect with the business community. They're looking to grow course offerings. They're looking to add opportunities for students, and so they've drafted a letter, and we're working on connecting them with businesses that might be partners around internships for students, for example. As a volunteer, I've had the chance to be in leadership roles in lots of small, fast-growing organizations where strategy is so important. So whether that's fundraising strategy or organizational development strategy, and so thinking about who our key audiences are and how we can move forward in a way that serves all students is something that I have experience with. So I think it's the experience in a wide variety of systems and seeing more clearly how education connects and interacts with all of the other aspects of our community.
Thank you. Okay, let's take a moment to take a deep breath. Either of you needs to get a drink of water, feel free to do so. You are doing extremely well. Our audience, I think by now, is probably impressed with each of you, with your ability to collect your thoughts and deliver those thoughts in a clear, concise way. So congratulations.
Thank you, Wayne.
That is an asset that would be helpful to any school board member, I think, as we go along. Now, our audience may now, if they're taking notes, may want to get their pen and pad out. We're going to have some numbers involved in this next question. So as well, you could use your pad as well. That'll be just fine. And so
You can tell us we're going to have to do math, Wayne.
well, there's no math, but hopefully these answers will add up. How's that for a segue? Let me get my timer set again here. I can get it to stop and restart. Okay. Keaton, so you're going to be first on this one. What are the three, there's our number.
Okay.
What are our three operational or attendance issues you believe the Fayetteville School Board must address soon due to the already mentioned growth changes that are occurring in our city over the remainder of this decade? Okay, so we got three changes, operational or attendance, over the next decade. So you kind of a long-term view of this process. Keaton, you're first.
Take a moment to think about the top three here.
Okay, that's fine.
So, in terms of community growth, we're fortunate to live in a growing community. We know we're going to continue to grow. I'd much rather live in a growing community than one that is not. Growth does present challenges for our community at large, and it presents challenges for the school district. So one of the things I'm excited about over the next few years is that we're at some point in the future, likely in 2024, we'll start a facilities master planning process. So this is I'm thinking about it like a strategic plan for facilities. It's a longer term view than we usually take. It's the first time we've done one of these since I've been on the board. And so I think it's really an opportunity to think creatively around the future of our facilities, around the grade configurations that we currently use, about how many transitions that our students go through from building to building. It's an opportunity to more deeply integrate our long-term planning efforts with the city of Fayetteville and other community partners. It's an opportunity to think about how we might co-locate facilities, again, like the Brightwater classroom that is located at the Fayetteville Public Library. Are there opportunities to co-locate facilities with businesses and other community partners? So that's a conversation that I'm really excited about, and it's driven by growth. It's driven by projected enrollment growth. I would say operationally, looks like my time is just about up. I think I only got to one.
Go ahead.
Well,
If you have a thought, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I have some thoughts about transportation. I would, and how, again, this is one way we can coordinate more deeply with the city of Fayetteville to site schools in locations that help us balance our school zone socioeconomically, to site schools in locations that allow us to add on-site supportive services like mental health, healthcare, pre-K, to create, small clusters or neighborhood hubs anchored by a school, and where we then others can build those supportive services. Others can build mixed income housing around schools, giving more community members the opportunity to walk and bike to school, and making the most efficient use of our finite land resources, because that's what drives our tax base and the revenue side of our budget. So just being really thoughtful about how we grow, how we partner, and how we think strategically around not just accommodating, but thriving through enrollment growth.
So long questions somewhat dictate long answers. That's okay. That's perfectly all right. That's where we're headed. So Heather, as we move into this, if you don't mind, I'll repeat the question because it's kind of lengthy.
Yes.
And you will be allowed extra time if you need it, I can tell you. What are the 3 operational or attendance issues you believe the Fayetteville School Board must address soon due to the growth changes that are occurring in our city over the remainder of this decade? 3 issues over a decade,
Okay.
boiling it down.
So I'm going to say my 3 issues. I believe school safety is an issue when you have population growth and you're running classrooms and schools at capacity. I know operational too, we're looking at, the district is looking at, we have a middle school rezoning on the table for next year. And just managing that growth, I think is going to be important. And then attendance, I know we have an attendance issue across the district, and I have researched it, and I wish there was a one-size-fit-all solution to that, but there's not. I think you have to look at each individual school and what works for that school. But I do want to go back to the school safety. Like I said, when you have a school and class at maximum capacity, I do not feel like we are fully providing quality education, because what programs are we having to leave off to manage the extra population, or are we getting waivers from the state and then that requires to have a bigger class, and then that's more workload for the teacher, and then you're looking at teacher burnout, and then once again when you have more students you're going to have more behavior challenges. So I look at it from that aspect. I am concerned about the safety when we have population growth. And then also the rezoning, I know that is a very sensitive subject for most parents, and it's a difficult decision. And I think when we're looking at population growth, I live on the side of town where there is a lot of population growth. And McNair Middle School, where my son attended, that they are at capacity, and we've had to put some temporary buildings out there So as a stakeholder, as a parent and community member, I am concerned about about the growth over there and how we're going to address that. I think that's going to be needed addressed pretty immediately, and we're doing that through the rezoning process. I know that, but I do think it's going to continue to grow, and I think we're going to continue to see problems in that area. And like I said, with attendance, we can't close achievement gaps if children aren't in school. So I think, there's a lot of factors that influence that. It could be transportation, involving families. It could be, the child might have some health problems that's preventing them from being in school.
May have extra time.
Okay, thank you. So I feel like if we look at the whole child and the whole family, and that I understand that takes time, that takes resources, and that takes people. But if we have to start somewhere. And so I think if we start there, then we'll start seeing some of that attendance improve and our achievement gaps closing because they're in school. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you both. Those were well thought out answers. That was a pretty tough question there. I didn't write that question, by the way. At any rate, we're moving right along. Really, we only have one open-ended question left. And let me get my timer reset and we'll start over again. And then, of course, we'll have our closing remarks. So this is one of, I think, a lot of interest to our folks out there. What is your position? And by the way, Heather, you'll go first on this response. Question 7, what's your position on the use of artificial intelligence by students or faculty in our school system? That really says and or faculty. So you can answer about students and or faculty. What use of artificial intelligence by students and or faculty in our school system?
Well, my expertise is not in technology. You can talk to my son about that, who has to help me use my phone. But I know that artificial intelligence is out there. I joined a Facebook group or something that talks about AI in the classroom and how to use it efficiently with students. And I haven't really dove into the information yet, but I know that it's out there. I think you have to be careful when you're using artificial intelligence because I know you can pretty much type anything in there and it'll give you an answer. I know a lot of children use it to do their homework. So that's something that concerns me. But like I said, it's not my expertise. And if that was to become an issue at the schools or something I need to address, I would definitely reach out to the experts and find out as much about it as I possibly could.
Okay, thank you. And Keaton, your impression of the position on the use of AI by students and faculty?
I think that's another tough question, and tough questions are extra tough when you have to go first. Because that is a very new issue for educators to begin starting to deal with. But I know there are concerns about what does sort of the world of what does that do to the definition of plagiarism or so I don't know. I would sort of outsource the best learning on that to our administrators and our educators, I think. And I just know that it's an emerging issue that people are following. But I don't know, the leading thoughts on that. What I do know is that our world is rapidly changing, and technology is one example of that. Technology is progressing more quickly than it ever has in 2023, and 2023 will be the slowest that it ever will in the future, right? So anticipating future careers, anticipating future labor market data is that's where my mind goes around the technology question. Is anytime there's a disruptive technology, there are fears of displacement and some of the job displacement, and some of those are warranted, but then there are also new jobs created. So I feel like from a governance board perspective, it's my approach to a technology example like AI would be to try to anticipate how that is going to change future career opportunities, and just the lives of our current students, and then give them the tools to be successful. I mean that the teachers I mentioned earlier that are reaching out to industry, they're reaching out to advanced manufacturing industries that are helping with robotics and automation of manufacturing facilities. And so the jobs in those facilities are no longer line workers. They are people that can operate heavy machines, or not necessarily heavy machines, but like it's almost a computer science background that you need to operate advanced manufacturing facilities. So I think it's really about anticipating the future and what that's going to mean for our students. I'm sure I would love to hear from educators on anything that the school board can do to maybe prohibit or to reduce the likelihood that a student would use AI for their homework. But I am not up on the latest best practice in that area.
Okay, thank you. In an attempt to help you connect with some of the older patrons of the school district, Heather, I'm going to give you a bonus question. You have 10 seconds to answer. We'll start with you. Well, Heather, you had to go first that time. I'm going to let you go first. Can you explain what a slide rule is for?
A slide rule. I believe that is that a no?
I think that may be one of the most honest answers. What about you?
A slide rule?
Haven't you ever heard the song and don't know what a slide rule is for? I'm trying to make good grades. Okay, that's a.
Is that like I don't know. I remember I had a big thing taped to my desk with the ruler on it.
Slides back and forth.
Yeah.
That's the slide rule.
Okay, so I have had a slide rule. I guess.
Measurement, or is it for?
So here's what we'll do. We'll let you both off the hook, and we'll ask the patrons of the school district who care about what a slide rule is to contact you and let you know what it is.
Okay.
How's that? Fair enough? Okay, that completes our questions. You've both been very forthcoming. We appreciate it. We're just about right on schedule now. We're going to complete the day with our closing remarks. And as we drew earlier, the closing remarks, Keaton, you will go first, and then Heather, you will finish up. So you have 3 minutes. As I've said before, if you need a little more, that's fine. Keaton.
Great, thank you. Well, thanks everyone who watched all the way to this point. I really appreciate you all for caring as much as you do about local elections and local public education. So thank you. This election is important. It's the only thing on the ballot. We have a strong, positive, and cohesive culture on our school board, and I'd like to continue being a part of it. Early voting starts Tuesday, May 2nd at the Washington County Courthouse, and the final day to vote is May 9th. All of the polling places are listed on our website, KeatonForFayetteville.com, because there are multiple polling places throughout Washington County that you can visit on Election Day. But to take a quick step back in these last couple of minutes, anytime I do a deep dive into a system, reflecting on 5 years, it makes you take a step back and think, how should we measure our success? If we could free ourselves from all the logistical realities and the costs of how we measure success. When I think about this question, my answer is, what is the health, happiness, and economic stability of our students at age 25, at age 30, at age 35? So that gets to, in order to achieve that goal, we're supporting the whole child. We're positioning students for economic mobility. We're positioning students for success in college and their career. And we are supporting everything about them so that they can flourish after high school. So I'm personally interested in exploring how we might measure more longitudinal outcomes. There's an effort at the state level to do that around CTE programs, and I'd love to explore what that would look like to measure longitudinal outcomes for our district. So my 5 years on the school board has certainly given me an even deeper appreciation for public education and the diverse community of students that we serve. School board is a steep learning curve, and my finance background is very helpful. I'd be very excited to serve another 5 years as we implement LEARNS and continue to demonstrate that public education is the best choice for students and parents in Fayetteville. I'm going to share just a little bit about more about myself to close. I'm a voice for innovation, but I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I listen closely to all stakeholders, and I'm willing to make tough decisions. I'm passionate, but I don't seek the limelight. I'm open to feedback, and I am flexible when new information is presented to me. I am a long-term strategic systems thinker, but I also understand Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I have a strong vision, and I'm patient. I work towards the best interests of all students, all staff members, and all community members, and I'm a good listener. I'd like to ask for your vote. As we move forward as a district and a community, I believe that my experience, my finance background, my connectivity and relationships, my systems thinking approach, and my approach to partnerships are assets to the school district. I'm excited about the possibility that I could continue to serve, and with your help, I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Keaton. All right, you have the final word, Heather.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Wayne, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Over the past several years, I've seen just a change in focus, understanding, and engagement across our district with parents, educators, students, all stakeholders. And like I said before, we're just at a pivotal time in our district with the changes in leadership at the district and state levels. And I just thought this is a great time. This is when they need a voice from someone that's a former educator that has that background and understands what it's like to be in a classroom. And from day one of my campaign, I have been focused on 4 essential components, and that's school safety, student success, engaging families, and supporting educators. As a parent, I cannot reiterate school safety anymore because it is so important to me. And I know it's so important for our students and parents and families. In order for quality education to happen, teachers and staff need to feel safe and be safe. So I think that is very important. Student success, we've got to close those achievement gaps and address behavior challenges in the classroom. And also with the LEARNS Act, bringing in the option for pre-K education, that has been my passion. I've been advocating it for 20 plus years. If you really want to see those achievement gaps close, we need more quality early childhood programs in Northwest Arkansas. 90% of brain development happens before the age of 5. And then if we can get them on a path of lifetime of learning, you will see those achievement gaps closing and students graduating and going on to higher education. Engaging families. As a parent volunteer, I'm reminded daily of the importance of family involvement and engagement, whether it's attending an FPS event or going to a parent-teacher conference or helping, with the PTO. Having parents involved is essential to achieving our goals. Like I said before, parents, you are your child's first teacher, and you're always going to be your child's best advocate. So it's important that they are part of the educational program. And supporting educators. And when I say educators, I'm not just talking about teachers. I'm talking about, administration, librarians, custodians, bus drivers, everyone, support staff. They are all positive role models to our students every day in the schools. And it's important that we support them and retain them. And like I said, it's just important that all of those components are addressed. And that's no easy task. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be the one person that's going to go in and solve all the problems, but I think we can start building those bridges and we can start seeing those achievement gaps closing, and we can, and I know we will be, the #1 school in the state. I have been asked the question here recently. They say you want to be a voice, and how comfortable do you feel advocating for our students? And so my first response to that is always, dynamite comes in small packages, people. So education is something that I'm passionate about, and sometimes I come across as yelling, and I tell everyone I'm not yelling. That's my passion coming through. So no worries there. But anyway, I humbly ask for your vote on May 9th, and you can find out more about me at heatherforfayetteville.com.
Okay, thank you both. I'll move back up here to the front.
Are these mics still live?
Yes, they are. We'll finish up here by with a little commercial, Hank, and I don't know if my head's gonna be cut off in this or not. I need to kind of bend down. We tall people have that problem. No, it's been a delight to have you both here today. I appreciate it, and I was not kidding when I said you both did a good job. You represent yourselves well. Clearly, you're passionate about our school district, whether you're on school board or not, and that's great. We appreciate it. The Chamber cares about the community. We share about good government. For about 8 weeks, we had weekly sessions during the legislative session with our local legislators, asked them to come in and visit with citizens and get a chance to ask questions face-to-face without having to go all the way to Little Rock. So we call them our face-to-face meetings. And now we moved into the school area, and public schools are important to the Chamber. The education system in our community is extremely important. Why would the Chamber not want to support that as well? So you've seen 2 really well-qualified folks here today in the room for position 2 at large in the Fayetteville School Board. As we said, early voting starts on May 2nd, and the election itself, with all the polls being open all day, on May 9th. Thank you very much for watching. Call the Chamber of Commerce if you have any questions or suggestions. Thank you very much.